Hey guys, this is Justin Bob 100 here, and this is the first episode of Amnebra, where I will be doing the art for this level. As you see on the side there, there's a little screen of what I did already, and I am currently working on that cave section you saw a little bit there. I'm filling in the rocks, and I cut it here. I think this design looks pretty cool with the rocks. So if you ever want to make like a cave look really dynamic and nice, do like those do that. Do that. I don't know if I do it yet, but also you can add like dots and stuff. Well, I end up filling in this part. This is post commentary, by the way, which means I already did this, and it's sped up, so you don't have to watch 50 minutes. This first part, this section used to be 50 minutes long. I sped it up and cut some parts, and now it's going really fast. So what I'm pretty much doing is I'm doing like the wood plank kind of thing. It's kind of a mine shaft in a way, so you're going to have those wooden structures. Right now I'm doing columns, and the thing about columns is they're really freaking easy. But what I want to do is I needed these columns to be on the same plane so the boards in between them could be flat, because you don't really want them to be going at a tilt. I mean, you can, but it doesn't look as good. So I needed to make sure of that. I think I ended up getting rid of that because I didn't like it, and I made the boards in between them bigger. One thing, I don't know if you'll actually see this, but I always write down the colors I use because I feel like I know there is like a picker thing, like art picker, where if you move your mouse away from the screen or whatnot, or the color picker thing, you can actually choose any color you want that you've already drawn, which is nice. But I still like writing the colors down and writing what they're for. I think that's really helpful if you want to if you want to keep it organized. So right now I'm just doing basic shading, light on top, dark on bottom, left side as light, right side as dark. I mean, it depends. That's how it generally is when I do it. I mean, hues and stuff can be different, but I cut ahead to get those boards done. One thing I really noticed throughout making this, doing this level, is making sure certain objects really pop out. Uh, and like the backgrounds, they're still there and they still look nice, but they're not really the focal point. They're just kind of they're just there to look good, but they're not what you're focusing on. Right now I'm actually doing a barrel, and barrels are shaped sort of odd, and right now it kind of looks like a Legend of Zelda pot, the shape of it, and I end up fixing it a little bit later on. But yeah, those curvy lines were a pain. I cut a lot of this out. They took me like, I think they took me like 5 minutes to get. But yeah, it looks kind of like, if you've ever played Spyro, it almost looks like one of the crates in Spyro. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just kind of trimming this out. I end up trimming the top of it because the opening is just way too big. And it does look more like a barrel. You got the lines. By the way, these both of these brown colors I did have to write down. I have I have these little mini sheets where I have all the drawings that I'm going to do in these, because this is based off of two different games, so certain images from these games are in it, and you might recognize if you played it. But in this part, this is just me shading the barrel. Shading makes things look better. I used dot art, which isn't the best if you're trying to conserve brush strokes to avoid the going over the art limit. But I just did it. I just did it anyway because it looks nicer for this purpose. And right here, I'm doing these little holes in it. I think I didn't do it like that. This is because there's push blocks behind the barrel, so I was like, oh, well, I can make it look like there's bullet holes behind it so you can actually see the push blocks. And it's just not like randomly there. And I think it works pretty well. You can see that there's something back there because in the top hole it's blank like that, and it's not that color. I end up making it darker, or not darker, but less dark. And so you can see, oh, okay, there's push blocks behind there because you see the yellow and the white. Push blocks are a reoccurring theme of this level, and you'll see them in like barrels and crates and stuff. Um, So yeah, here I just do like the pillars. I think I do some cutting around this. Get the boards. If you get anything from this episode, it's write down your colors and make sure there's a focal point in each of your sections, like something that the player needs to focus on. In this instance, it's the barrel and the wooden planks and not so much the rocks. The rocks are just there, and they're there to look pretty. Um, yeah, now I'm starting to do this. I felt like there needed to be something here, so this is kind of like a light post thing. And I mean, it isn't the prettiest looking thing, but it's nice to be able to see it in fast motion because making some of this stuff is kind of a pain. Um, it's not perfect, but the way I do it, the way I implement it with the background and how it interacts with it works really well because it is a light, so it is lighting up the background in a way that works pretty well. Geez, I'm having to talk really fast. I might slow down future videos because like I'm feeling pressed and I've pressed for time and I feel like I wanted to say so much more, but I can't. So yeah, um, it's kind of got this chain thing in front of it, and when I first drew it, I was like, oh, this kind of looks stupid. I mean, it just doesn't look like a light. So I decided, after doing some shading, that it'd probably work better if in the middle I made it a little brighter, and therefore am able to make it look more like a light that's shining. And I start with kind of that color, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to make the middle white. It actually looks really good, and it looks like the actual, it just looks like a circle rather than just dots that I put in the arrangement of a circle. And I think it looks pretty good. Yeah. And you'll see soon what I do with the background. I pretty much just do little bright dots, as in it's like making the background bright. Although that would mean that both sides are illuminating, which doesn't really work. But yeah, what happens like up close, it's like, oh, that looks kind of weird, and I cut ahead, but it looks pretty good from afar. And also, well-placed dots work really well for these caves. Like, just looking up close is like, oh, that's so simple, and then from afar it looks really cool, and you can see where it was done there, and thank you for watching.